Welcome to About Mansfield. It's your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios, along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniel, she's out there in Studio West. This is the March 25th, 2026, 313th edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield news, talk, and information. Let's check the stories we're covering this week.
Mansfield police warn of fake DMV text scam.
City Council aims to slow traffic. In a moment with the mayor.
Heritage Parkway construction to shift traffic starting next week. Mansfield police officer retires after 28 years.
And in sports, North Texas SC drops one in Houston.
And in the talk segment, Steve talks with Mentors Care founder Dena Petty. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo. Have you ever wondered what a river cruise is really like? It's not a big ocean ship, no crowds, no long lines, just a relaxed way to experience Europe, one beautiful town at a time. This November 12th through 19th, Paradigm Travel Agency is hosting a Rhine River cruise aboard the elegant Ama Lucia, sailing from Amsterdam to Basel through the heart of Europe's castle country. You'll wake up in a new destination every morning, medieval towns, vineyard hillsides, and historic cities with guided excursions and exceptional meals already planned. You unpack once, and Europe comes to you. For more information, contact Claudine at ParadigmTravelAgency.com. Don't forget, use promo code MP111226.
Looking for a night out that's anything but ordinary? Step into Vault Seafood and Steakhouse, Mansfield's premier upscale dining experience. Savor perfectly aged steaks, fresh seafood, and handcrafted cocktails, all served in a stunning atmosphere. Want more? Enjoy private dining rooms and a cigar lounge for that extra touch of luxury. Vault delivers exceptional flavor in a one-of-a-kind atmosphere. Located at Matlock and Country Club, Vault Seafood and Steakhouse. Unforgettable nights. Unmatched taste.
Hi, I'm Karen Mora. I'm the COO at Texas Health Mansfield, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by Vault Seafood and Steakhouse.
Mansfield police are warning residents about a text message scam targeting drivers across Texas. According to the department, scammers are sending threatening messages claiming people owe unpaid traffic tickets, toll charges, or other violations. The texts often warn of penalties, such as suspended vehicle registration, loss of driving privileges, or immediate legal action, and they include a link demanding payment. Police say the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles does not issue or collect fines for traffic or toll violations and does not send unsolicited text messages about them. Residents who receive one of these texts are urged not to click any links, not to reply, and not to share personal information. Instead, they should delete the message and report the scam to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center or the Federal Trade Commission. Authorities say the goal of the scam is to steal personal and financial information.
The Mansfield City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. The following opinions of those of Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council. As we say every other Tuesday, top of the morning, Mayor Michael Evans.
Top of the morning to you, my friend. Good to see you.
We call this a moment with the mayor. We check in with Mayor Evans on finding out what happened at Monday night's City Council meeting. 2 work sessions started the day.
You know what? It was an exciting meeting, if I do say so myself. Yes, we did have 2 work sessions. The first one was to discuss speed limits and signage on Cannon Drive. We are concerned about the flow of traffic, Steve, right behind Mansfield High School across the street from the Arbors. And we're working to slow that traffic down a bit so that our students can have a safe trip from Mansfield High over into their neighborhood. So
Sure.
hopefully we'll get that taken care of. And we also discussed, listen to this, possible transportation options for historic downtown and the Stayboat Entertainment District. So what that would include, we're starting to talk about this now, is shuttles to different venues in town, and maybe a trolley system that would run people from, certain areas in Mansfield to the entertainment district, from hotel to hotel, businesses to businesses. So now is the time for us to start talking about that, because about another 3 to 5 years, my friend, we're going to have a live entertainment district in Mansfield. And, of course, also downtown will be hopping too.
Now, Mr. Mayor, we're not talking buses.
Oh, God, no, please. No. Mr. and Mrs. Mansfield, we're not talking buses. We are talking shuttles.
Shuttles.
And, yes, like battery-operated, 15-passenger golf cart kind of things, and trolleys. I think people have an idea what those are, but the trolleys would be able to transport about 25 people. Oh. But, so, yeah, we're talking about doing that. And, Steve, they would only run on the weekends as well. So
okay.
That's what we're looking at.
Let's talk about a couple of proclamations.
Yeah, let's do that. So we began with 2 proclamations. First, we declared the months of March through May as North Texas Community Cleanup Challenge months, encouraging our residents to keep Mansfield beautiful through litter pickup events and activities. And actually, Mansfield was #1 in the Metroplex for litter cleanup. So you know what? We've got a clean city, sir.
Yep.
And also, the council, we declared April 19th through the 25th of this year's National Library Week. So we hope to see our community come together through the love for the written word, reading, that kind of thing. And speaking of books, don't forget to register for the Mansfield Reads. This event is set to take place April the 10th at the Mansfield Public Library. So started off with a lot of good stuff, Steve.
Kind of a light consent agenda, only 4 items, but they are important indeed.
They are very important. We approved all 4 consent agenda items, including a cost reimbursement of $1,028,000 for the Rockwood Lift Station and Force Main improvements. Again, that's infrastructure stuff. So that's important. Water, sewage. We need to get the sewage out.
Yep.
So those kinds of things. And also, Steve, not to jump ahead, but I'll go ahead and say it. We had public hearing. In the public hearing portion, we approved a specific use permit located at 240 North Mitchell Road. So this is a long-standing agreement. We inherited this, and we just approved so they can go ahead and start getting the work done. So that's what happened.
And that was it.
Believe it or not, sir, that was it. And we took care of the city's business.
As part of being mayor comes along with the compliments comes the critical. And that's part of what happens.
Oh, let me tell you something. You've got to love the fact that we live in a country where people can share with you their opinions, whether they're for you or against you. As a public servant, no matter what, Steve, the bottom line is we are servants of all. And take it from a guy that's been married 39 years, there are going to be times when you're going to agree and disagree. And also, pastor of a Baptist church, where there are always 4 opinions that 2 people can give you. So such is life.
And then to conclude, good to see you at the Pickle Parade.
Listen, the Pickle Parade was outstanding. We want to thank the thousands of people that showed up. And Steve, you all did a great job, buddy. So keep up the good work. It's just only going to get bigger and better. So to John Presley and that entire group, way to go, guys. We love you, and we love seeing Mansfield come together.
That is a moment with the mayor. That is Mayor Michael Evans. We do this every other Tuesday right here in the studio. And as we say, Mr. Mayor, go forth, prosper. We'll see you soon.
You do the same. God bless. Bye-bye.
Drivers in Mansfield can expect traffic changes on Heritage Parkway starting the week of March 30th. The city says eastbound lanes between North Main Street and Commerce Drive will close for reconstruction as part of a capital improvement project. During the work, traffic will shift to the westbound side, which will carry one lane in each direction through the construction zone. Weather permitting, the project is expected to continue through October. City officials say access to businesses and nearby properties will remain open, and contractors will work with business owners to reduce disruptions. Message boards are already up along the corridor, warning drivers of the upcoming changes. Residents are encouraged to plan ahead and watch for delays. The Mansfield Police Department is honoring the retirement of William Trey Foster after more than 28 years of service. Foster began his career with the department in September 1997 and served the community through March of 2026. During his time with the Mansfield Police, he worked in patrol and later as a commercial vehicle enforcement officer, helping keep our local roadways safe. The department says Foster was known for his professionalism, knowledge, and commitment to excellence throughout his career. Police officials also thanked Foster's family for their support over the years, saying that encouragement helped make his long career in public service possible. Foster is now being recognized for his decades of service as he begins his retirement.
North Texas SC falls short, and we'll talk about it because sports is next.
Hungry for bold flavor and a good time? Head on over to El Primo's to enjoy sizzling fajitas and their signature blue margarita. Enjoy weekend live entertainment and let the kids run wild with an outdoor play area and arcade. Planning a party? Multiple private rooms are available, including the all-new Parrot's Nest to make your event a success. Food, fun, and flavor for the whole family at El Primo's. Visit elprimos.net and bring your appetite. Located at Matlock and Country Club. El Primo's, where the locals go.
Mansfield Plumbing, Electrical, Heating, and Air is a family-owned local service provider with over 20 years of experience. Servicing Mansfield and surrounding areas, we offer expert plumbing, electrical, heating, and air solutions focused on quality workmanship, customer satisfaction, fair pricing, and guaranteed results for homes and businesses.
Call 817-473-8888. Mansfield Plumbing's never second rate.
In sports, North Texas SC dropped a 2-0 decision to Houston Dynamo 2 on Saturday night, falling to a 1-2-1 record on the season. There are a few notable milestones for North Texas. Forward Samuel Sadeh made his first professional start, while FC Dallas Academy midfielder Benji Flowers made his pro debut in the 84th minute. Now check this out. At just 14 years, 11 months, and 7 days old, Flowers becomes the second youngest player to appear for North Texas SC and the 38th FC Dallas Academy player to debut in MLS Next Pro. Yeah, Benji Flowers, 14 years old. Head coach John Gall said he was disappointed with the result, but pointed to a strong first half and said the group continued to fight even after falling behind. He also said the club remains committed to developing young players and expects the team to respond after taking this weekend off. North Texas SC returns to action on April 4th against Sporting Kansas City 2. In other sports, it's being called FIFA Road to Mansfield, as one of 4 international teams will be using the new Mansfield Stadium as their base camp during the World Cup tournament. Vying for that final World Cup slot are Czechia, Republic of Ireland, North Macedonia, and Denmark. And now, if you are an odds-on favorites player, then your eyes should be on Denmark, an upper-tier team with near-elite status. Czechia and Republic of Ireland fall closely behind as 2 mid-tier teams, but don't count out North Macedonia, as any team to make it this far into the tournament has strong upset potential. Denmark takes on North Macedonia, while Czechia and Republic of Ireland go head-to-head. Both games are on Thursday afternoon at 1:45 Central Time. The winners of those 2 games will play a win-or-go-home match on Tuesday, March 31st, also at 1:45, and that winner will advance to the World Cup tournament, calling Mansfield home, and will be the 4th and final team added to the World Cup Group A, along with South Korea, South Africa, and Mexico. So just what exactly is a base camp? Think of it as their operational hub for several weeks. A base camp includes a dedicated practice facility, such as Mansfield Stadium, a team hotel, support infrastructure, including security, media areas, medical facilities, logistics. In short, a base camp is a team's temporary home base during the World Cup. It's not where the games are played, but it's where everything else happens. And that, my friends, is a look at sports. This coming Saturday, March 28th, is National Weed Appreciation Day. No, not that weed. We're talking the scrappy, stubborn, sidewalk-splitting stars of your yard finally getting their moment. Before you wage war with the weed killer, consider this. Those pesky plants are persistent, practical, and occasionally pretty impressive. Dandelions, delightfully defiant, and entirely edible. Clover, clever ground cover that quietly keeps your lawn green. Even those rogue weeds popping up through the concrete are basically botanical overachievers. So this coming Saturday, before you take your shovel to them, take a second to salute the spunky, self-starting survivors sprouting where they shouldn't. Because in a world of high-maintenance landscaping, weeds are the ultimate low-maintenance rebels.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
I'm Angel Biasatti. Today, we're talking about how healthy green foods can boost your energy with Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, it's a little herbal, a little citrus, and just enough bite to remind you that spring has officially arrived.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
And Colleen, before we go to break, just a short reminder, if you are a business owner or a manager, we would love for you to consider adding About Mansfield to your advertising or marketing budget for 2026. Give your business a marketing boost while helping keep our lights on. And show our great community that you care about keeping news alive in Mansfield. You can reach out to us through our website contact page at aboutmansfield.com. In fact, here's one of our advertisers right now. This portion of the news was brought to you by El Primo's, where the locals go.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a Level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
Congratulations to Shariah Valencia Llanos, who was the first person to correctly answer last week's Mansfield trivia question. What is the theme of this year's pickle parade? Teresa knew it was Party in Mansfield like it's 1776, and that's exactly what thousands of people gathered on Saturday afternoon to watch the 15th annual event on Main Street did. Looking for the weekly, highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield trivia question? You can find it at its new home on the About Mansfield Facebook page. So log on to Facebook right now and hit the About Mansfield News Talk page. As always, the first person to email the correct answer will win a $25 restaurant gift card, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance. Good luck.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
Hi, I'm Olympia Longjumper, Jacob Fincham-Dukes, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti is here to talk about how a green diet can add some spark to your life. In Methodist Mansfield, News to Know. Angel?
Today, we're talking about how healthy green foods can boost your energy and maybe even bring a little luck on your way. Greens like spinach, kale, and broccoli are packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that help your body feel energized and strong. Avocados and green beans give you steady fuel throughout the day. And while herbs like parsley and cilantro add flavor, plus a nutritional punch. Don't forget fun ways to enjoy these greens. You can put smoothies with spinach and kale or kiwi, avocado toast with a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds, or a heart-healthy salad with green apples and edamame can make eating healthy and feel festive. And here's a fun bonus. Adding more green to your plate is a playful nod to St. Patrick's Day, so it's like celebrating while giving your body a boost. It's a win-win for energy, wellness, and a little seasonal cheer. So this March, go green, get energized, and maybe channel a bit of that Irish luck while you're at it. Eat green and feel festive. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for About Mansfield podcast.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain points his bat toward the grandstands as he serves up the final spring training drink in this week's Cocktail of the Week. Brian?
Welcome to the final installment of Spring Training Sips here on the Cocktail of the Week, proudly sponsored by Bourbon Gospel. Once again, I'm your host, Brian Certain, and we're closing March with a cocktail that's equal parts precision and poise. Introducing the Grandstand Gimlet, a refreshing take on the classic gin gimlet, brightened up with local basil, fresh lime, and just a hint of honey. It's a throwback to the cocktail party, but with enough spring sparkle to earn a standing ovation. So whether you're watching a spring training game or embracing a porch season, this drink plays beautifully from the dugout to the deck. So what are we going to do to make this? Well, this week, we're going to be using 2 ounces of a botanical forward gin, something like Treaty Oaks Waterloo or Aviation, or I'm a big fan lately of Still Austin's gin. 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice, a 1/2 ounce of basil-infused honey syrup, and then garnish is going to be a basil leaf or a lime wheel, and then optional, just a tiny pinch of sea salt to help bring the salinity and the balance to the cocktail. Glassware, a coupe glass or a Nick and Nora glass. Ice is going to be shaken and served up. So how do we make this? So we're going to take the gin, the lime juice, the basil honey syrup to a shaker. We're going to fill it with ice and shake until it's well chilled. Again, about 15 seconds. Then we're going to fine strain it into a chilled coupe glass and then garnish with a single basil leaf or a lime wheel. And then optional, sprinkle a pinch of flaky sea salt for that gourmet edge. The mocktail version, we're calling the Benchwater Gimlet. You're going to take 2 ounces of Seedlip Garden or other botanical non-alcoholic spirit, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce of the basil honey syrup, and a splash of club soda for texture. You're going to shake with ice, strain into a coupe or rock glass, and then top with a splash of club soda, and then garnish the same way as the adult version. The gimlet is a cocktail with navel roots, originally crafted as a way for British sailors to get their dose of vitamin C. Officers would mix gin with the lime cordial to stave off scurvy, and the name is believed to come from Sir Thomas Gimlet, a naval surgeon. But over time, the drink evolved to a mainstay of mid-century cocktail culture with Rose's lime cordial, but modern versions, like the one in your glass today, are fresher, lighter, and infinitely more elegant. Adding the basil honey syrup brings herbal complexity and Texas seasonality. March basil thrives in early gardens across the state. So whether you're wrapping up a month of ball games, blue bonnets, or bourbon experiments, the Grandstand Gimlet is the fitting final pitch. And always, I'm open to hear your take and input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey Well, that's barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain, and you're still not.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's in-studio interview with the Mentors Care founder, Dena Petty.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hello, I'm local movie producer Michael Hill, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And in the studio today, she is the founder and executive director of Mentors Care, a North Texas nonprofit that connects high school students with adult mentors to help them stay in school and prepare for life after graduation, something that I could have used. Dena Petty, welcome to About Mansfield.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
I always like to get a little background on the person that is sitting in the chair before we actually get into Mentors Care in this case. Give me the Reader's Digest of who is Dena Petty.
Oh, that's complicated. Well, the whole reason for Mentors Care is because of my childhood. I had
Were you a rebel?
No, actually, no? Well, my parents were is the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my dad was in the mafia and my mom was in a cult religion. So it was a very confusing childhood. It was a very abusive home. No love there. Mm-hmm. I don't remember being hugged or told I was loved or anything like that. School was never a focus. Like no one ever woke me up for school, so I missed a lot of days. It was just a very dysfunctional place. I mean, they were two people that really needed to work on themselves and they didn't.
Yeah.
So therefore, the childhood was hard.
Do you have siblings?
I have two brothers. I have an older brother. So my older brother kind of went off with my dad doing his stuff. He played a lot of golf, hung out at the country clubs. My dad played a lot of cards there.
Okay.
And in the book, which I'll talk about, there's, he was a really good card player and he always looked for suckers. And he said there were a lot of suckers in the country club scene. But, and I kind of went with my mother and my younger brother too. He was a lot younger. He was 8 years younger. So we were going to the religious building. I'm not even going to say, 5 days a week. I mean, it was all the time.
Okay.
So growing up, I was the one that was bullied, made fun of, didn't have any friends, and then, of course, no supportive family. So I would have given anything to have had something like this when I was growing up. And I'll just continue the story until you want to, go another direction. But it kind of culminated in that my parents divorced. Shock. That's a shock that they didn't make it. And when I was 16, they divorced, and my mom kind of lost her mind at that time. I mean, she was already struggling emotionally, but then it was bad, and my dad was gone. And it was really hard times during that time. But the moment that I remember thinking, I've got to get out of here some way, somehow. In school, you're not supposed to excel at school, because that's not your focus. You're just supposed to marry other cult people and have cult babies. And so you're not really going to focus on your future in any other way. So I was not a good student. I didn't care. Nobody cared. And
did you grow up here in Texas?
No, Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Baton Rouge.
All right.
Area. And my my mom, one day I came home, she was not there, and she's always home. This was when I was 16, right after the divorce. And my little brother, I can see him coming up the driveway, and there's a note on the counter, and it said, Satan had won. She was going to have to kill herself, but first kill her children.
Oh, no.
That's when I made up my mind. I'm out of here. Got to go. And so I just started hanging wallpaper to support myself, and then met my future husband, and we'll have been married 39 years this year, and 2 amazing kids and 3 grandbabies. God is good.
Yep.
He said he was going to Louisiana Tech, and I said, I think I want to go to college. And I had no background or training or anything to prepare me for that. But I wound up homeless in my car during that summer. And while I was there, I was saving money and found out my future husband, Todd, went to school, and I said, I think I want to go there. So I saved up. Back then, I'm old. So this was $600. I can't remember the number. I need to look that up. $600 to $800, something like that for a quarter tuition. And
that wasn't very many years ago.
I know people have a hard time believing that, but it's true. And I went to the registrar's office by myself, didn't know anything. And they said, you want to go to school here? And I said, yes. And they said, do you have your ACT or SAT scores? And I said, I don't even know what that is. Uh-oh. But they let me go. They took my money. And they said, you can take the test. We'll let you know if you don't pass. I must have passed. I don't know how. Huh. But anyway, went to school, married the love of my life, had kids, and then the journey started.
You went to school. Did you have a major?
Fine art and interior design.
Okay.
The worst majors you can have when you're homeless because it's very expensive.
You decorated your car, though, I guess.
Yeah. Well, by then I was able to stay in the dorm, which people don't realize tragically when the holidays move around. Where do you go?
Right. You have to leave the dorm.
Mm-hmm. That was always hard.
Back to the car?
Well, actually, my future husband would go home. I would go stay in his place. Or I'd stay with a friend. I went home with a friend one time. It was hard, very lonely.
It was. Mm-hmm. Let's jump up to 2009.
Okay.
You started a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Why did you start Mentors Care?
So I had a big journey from the time we got married until 2009, and I tell the whole story in the book. But married, kids. My son is really good in football, helping him with his recruiting. Before we moved there, I was a youth pastor, really called to working with the kids. I love those at-risk kids. The ones that were tearing up our church, those are the ones I loved. And so we moved to Texas, and he was quarterback in the high school, started getting attention. I was helping him with all of that. My daughter was doing great. She was into volleyball and singing and all the things. So I was busy with them. Well, the principal at Midlothian High School, Al Hemley, asked me if I would start a mentoring program. And I said, absolutely. I would have given anything to have done that when I was in school. So that was 2009. My son was a senior. He had already committed to Baylor. So I looked around the school trying to find a spot for me to land to build up an office and make it real and have validity, where people would really buy into what I'm doing. I wrote the program. I wrote curriculum, 4 years curriculum, mentor-student conversations called 24 Talking Points. And I found a broom closet that was actually the book drop room of the library. Yeah. And I shoved a desk in there and started. And the hope is that we could have anywhere from 5 to 10 mentors the first year. Well, because it's really historically hard to get mentoring going and hard to get mentors. I don't know. Glory be to God. We were able to get 30 the first year.
Wow.
Then the next year, 45. And then the next year it was up to 70, and I started having heart palpitations. And I said, all right, this is too many, because we were working with your most at-risk high school students.
Sure. So let's start then back at Midlothian High School. Mm-hmm. You were able to wrangle up 30 mentors.
Yeah.
How?
You
just put the word out. There was an in-office memo, and people started coming forward?
So you always have a few people very invested in a high school. They hear about something like that and they jump on board.
Mhm.
So we had our 5 to 10 right off the bat. But then word started getting out. We don't waste anybody's time. It's very organized, very structured. And I am there all day long when the students are at school. And the reputation just started building. And so by the second year, they were like, you need to do this. This is really cool. Because here's the thing. In every community, I don't care what community you're in, you have a population of students really struggling. And the schools are aware of those kids. They love those kids, but they're up to their eyeballs with all the other things they got to do.
Right.
And these are the kids that are cussing out the teachers. They're very angry, acting out. And so they're like, we need help. Well, in every community, you have great, great people that love their community, love kids, and see that there's an issue. And they're saying, I want to help. This is the perfect way to bring the two together. And as long as you have that, I was called a coordinator. So at each of our high schools, we have a coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And their job is to make sure that mentoring is happening every week. And if if the adult needs to reschedule, we can do that. If the student's not at school, we're going to let the mentor know. Try to honor their time.
Sure.
But it is hurting cats. So
at Midlothian High, you started as you founded the program. At what point is that when you decided to do the nonprofit, or
good question.
Or did this is why I'm the host. Or did starting that program, you go, oh, you know what? I should probably create a nonprofit out of this.
Interesting story about that.
Okay.
So, of course, I'm just volunteering my time, but I'm trying to make it as valuable as possible, knowing that it should be funded. So I was getting a little bit of funds towards the program in the beginning for the first 2 years. And then I was down to my last $600 to last the rest of the year. And I'll just be honest, I was angry because I was like, okay, my husband and I are sacrificing for the community. I could be getting a job somewhere, but we're doing this and I can't get donations to keep it going. Well, it was so successful. People really did love it. And the word was out and that it was working. There were several companies around Midlothian that pulled their money together. It was Gerdau, Ashgrove, Wholesome, a few others. They got together. I didn't even know this was happening. And then they deposited $30,000 into the account from Mentors Care and said, figure out how to become sustainable.
Yeah.
That's when I said, all right, I got to become a nonprofit and start raising funds. That was my first grant writing was United Way of West Ellis County. That was my first monies. And then it was a year or two after that, I realized, okay, that's hard too, to raise enough. I thought, the school districts really need to have a buy-in because we're doing so much for them. And I don't fill out government grants. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That was just a choice we made not to do that so that it frees us up to do what we want to do.
Right. And grant writing's not the easiest thing to do anyways.
Oh, it's horrific.
Yeah.
Especially the red tape with the government grants. It's just the nature of the beast. And I want to focus on what we're doing, the mission here, not that. So I became a nonprofit. We started getting a couple little grants here and there. Still wasn't enough. Went to the school districts. And 2 really good friends of mine were on the school board when I presented, and they voted no. And they said, Dena, gosh, we're so sorry. We just couldn't get behind it because we'd never seen money for mentoring before. We didn't want to make a decision that would be against the public, but it passed. We had enough votes.
But your 2 friends voted against it.
Yes. We're still friends today. I forgive them. But so every year after that, it's just been, this is what we do. We do a contract with the schools. We do fundraisers, private donor, philanthropy, foundation grants. We still don't do government grants. Although the schools it's just second tiered. They're governing the monies. They're designating where it goes. So
you started in 2009 at Midlothian High School. You're now in 22 school districts.
22 high schools, yes.
22 high schools, okay.
Okay, but Midlothian's the only school district that has 2 high schools that we serve so far. Now, Waxahachie is building a second high school. We hope that they'll agree to bring us in for their second high school, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah. When you started in 2009, the nonprofit actually started in what year?
2011 is when I became a nonprofit.
2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the roadblocks, some of the difficult parts of starting a nonprofit?
Well, there's two different ways of looking at that. And that's another great question. I've never been asked that before. Well, there's two things. At the school where I was serving, nobody really knew what we were or what we did, and neither did I. We were just trying to figure it out. I mean, it's all from grassroots. We just see a population of students that are lost. They're all dealing with the state at-risk indicators, plus some, which are your bullied and suicide ideation, impoverished, food insecurities, all the things. So we're trying to figure out how to serve them best, and how do we get the mentors, and how do we get the mentors to meet. In the school, it was a little bit of a rub in that they had to be careful about information, the FERPA laws and things like that. So we were able to work through all those things to say, we're a friend, we're not a counselor. We're just supporting them. So that had to be established. So that was kind of hard. So just the fundamentals of the program, what are you not? And one of the things I learned early on is that we are mentoring only.
Yeah.
Clear, crystal focus. Stay focused on that. It's that important. But then as far as the nonprofit thing, I call it trudging. Man, just every day trudging for years, trying to figure this thing out. You know, the people on the board are great, but I don't know how to do finances. I need help with that. And then I don't know how to do payroll when we started hiring people, and then HR, and then writing grants. Oh, my Lord. You know, where do you begin?
So initially, again, Midlothian High School, the principal had gone to you, but I'm sure the times have changed where you now have to go to the high schools. How do you gain the trust of the high school principal?
Well,
or school district?
Yeah, a lot of what we've been able to do is prove ourselves in the districts that we're in. And what we're finding, it's kind of like a trend. Like my son, when he played football, all the coaches know one another. It's like it's like a, I don't know, fraternity.
I was going to say a small family, a large family.
It is. They all know each other, and they move around. Same thing with school administration. They move around, and they'll go to a new district and say, I got to have mentors care. And so that's how we've been able to grow, but also presenting at TEA. I presented at TASB Midwinter back in the day. Just word of mouth. People will say, I moved. I was a mentor there. I'm going to talk to the principal and superintendent and school board members about your program. So what we're finding is that we have found a lot of the answers. We're not perfect, but man, huge success in helping these kids.
In the 16, 17 years, do you know how many kids that you've helped?
You know, we're trying to work on that number right now. So right now, this year alone, we're serving nearly 1,000 students.
Okay.
With 1,000 mentors. So it's one-to-one mentoring. And we have a caseload of 50 to 60 at each of the high schools. And, some less, some more. But how many that is over the years, we're still working on that number. Because when I first started, I was keeping statistics, but it was a literal spreadsheet on a loose leaf paper that you tape together and you do the ruler.
Oh, yeah.
A real spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I don't know what everybody else uses now. But anyway, we're going back and getting those past records to kind of look that up.
In the time, are you personally a mentor?
I have over the years, for sure.
I mean, I know you're now the executive director and you oversee the mentors. But, So you were a mentor at one point.
Yes.
Can you tell a story that you look back on going, you know what, I really made a difference in this child's life?
There's one that always stands out to me, and I tell, well, there's several, but this one, people need to know, it doesn't matter what community you're in. There's hurting and there's struggles. And this young man was being approached by the cartel, and this was back in 2010 when I met him. Great kid, good heart. He just had the look. And he was hanging out in parties with people, and they were approaching him and offering a lot of money for him to be a runner for them. And he and his mentor we sat down and we talked, and I was like, dude, if you do this, your life is over. Don't do it. I know it sounds like a lot of money. Don't do it. Well, he didn't do it. And then a year later, he was approached again, $12,000 that time, to go to El Paso. And I said, okay, here's the thing. You're in love with your little girlfriend, right? He goes, yeah. I said, and you want to be married and have kids? He said, yes. And I said, guess what? That's never going to happen. The little, house with the picket fence, that's gone. Your life will never be the same. I said, I know it sounds like a lot of money, but if you'll just believe us, you're going to do great the rest of your life and just having a good job. So he believed us. He graduated.
Good.
He went on to automotive school, and he did so well. They sent him to a BMW school down in Florida. He came back. He now works at a BMW place, making more money than my husband. He married that little girl, and they have 3 boys, and he's doing great.
That's a great story, because once the cartel owns you, they own you for life. And it may not be a long life.
Right.
Yeah.
All these kids, I don't know where they'd be, honestly. I'm so passionate about what we do because it really is working. Not 100%. We can't get them all because they have free will. They make their own decisions, dadgummit, if they would just listen. But we get a lot of them because they've never had anybody really speak life into them and talk about how amazing they are and talk about a future. Nobody's doing that. And for a lot of our kids, they've never talked about a future, and it scares them to death. But we do get to talk about, what do you see yourself doing in the future? What are your gifts and talents? Let's talk about goal setting. But the talking points are a big help. So I wrote that curriculum based upon my life of things I didn't know because I didn't have anybody teaching me those things. Like showing up is half the battle. I didn't think anybody cared if I showed up. They never did before. Well, I learned the hard way. You got to show up.
And just do it.
And just do it. Just show up. And so
I didn't know how to do an interview until I turned the mic on.
Right. You just jump in.
And 300 interviews later, I'm kind of doing it.
And successful at it.
I get whatever. Come on now.
Well, so these kids, just little life lessons. We can't assume that they know these things or are being taught these things. Some of them do. I want to come back and say probably 20% of our kids do have good support and family at home. The other 80 or so percent really have never heard these things. They're kind of raising each other. So one awesome opportunity to bring a person who truly cares about people in their community and kids. You just say yes. We'll schedule the time during school time, only at school, never outside of school. You don't go to their home. They don't come to your home. You don't meet for coffee. It's at school, eyes on you at all time. And we have curriculum. We'll have their updated grades every week for you to go over that, hold them accountable, attendance, and those kind of things. You talk about life, and they start chipping away a little bit at a time where they start buying in because of that relationship. This person really does care, and they don't want anything.
Right.
When they find out the mentor's not paid, it just blows their mind. They're like, they do this for free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy's showing up to my school and he's not getting paid for it.
Right.
And so this isn't like a Big Brothers, Big Sisters program. It's where adults are actually going out on campus, and that's great that they're only allowed on campus, that they're not going out for coffee and the movies or something. It's not a buddy type thing. It is I'm here to help you graduate.
Very organized, very structured. You are trained, you're equipped, and you have that coordinator at the school as well. So Big Brother, Big Sister, and other programs are wonderful programs. We just feel like we have figured out a way that we can match more students with more mentors, because the mentors are only asked to just show up. We'll schedule it for you. We'll let you know if they're not at school. We give you everything to talk about. It's only for 1 hour once a week. When the kids are not in school, you don't meet. You don't meet during the summer, and you get a lot done. Well, people say all the time, how in the world can 1 hour once a week truly make a difference in the life of another person? And I always give the example of my Aunt Nell. She was the only person in my life. It was my mom's sister. She was completely opposite of my mother. She was a wonderful, wonderful lady. Loved her husband, was a wonderful mother, always did for other people. She taught me how to paint. She's the one that taught me how to be an artist, and taught me how to sew. I mean, she just taught me everything. But I only saw her 3 times growing up.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But she impacted me that much the time that I did spend with her. Because if you have a relationship of trust and you really see they really do care about you, they don't want anything, it's very unconditional love, they're going to listen to everything. They're going to soak it up. It takes a little while in the beginning. I do want to say that because it is awkward at first.
You have to gain the students' trust before they start buying into the program.
Right. And then the walls come down and that shell they put up, because all of these kids have been abused, neglected, bullied, whatever. So that wall is there. I'm going to not like you first before you have a chance to not like me.
Mm-hmm.
But then once they realize you really do care and I'm really here, I'm not going anywhere, then the walls start coming down. And we've seen that over and over again, where the walls come down.
We're talking with Mentors Care's Dena Petty, and we will pick up part 2 next week. In the meantime, this is the place where you'll hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, celebrate, embrace, explore, share, love, or support this podcast. If you haven't already, so you never miss an episode, it's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Right there on the homepage, enter your email address. We will never, ever, ever, ever send you any spam. That is my personal promise to you.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts, Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studios, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without prior written consent is strictly prohibited. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.